rock and roll!
Well, judging from the carving on your desk, it looks like his name is Ozzy.
Yes, and apparently he rules.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So this came in the Wall Street Journal, I think yesterday. And yes, Iger has told associates he plans to leave CEO role before his contract expires. Okay. I guess it expires at the end of the year. I didn't understand what the statement meant. And the reason why I didn't understand what the statement meant was because I assumed December 31st was December 31st of 2025, and it looks like it's 2026. If you go on to Cameron's Patreon, you can read the article. It's out from behind a paywall. So if you go click on the link he has in his article, you'll be able to read it. Iger basically wants to sail around on his new yacht that he just took delivery of, called the Aquarius, and he's got some interest in a women's soccer team, and his wife is basically the head of the Annenberg communications thing at USC, I guess. Okay, so he's got other things he wants to do, which is fine. And we could go through his time at Disney and basically, give it an autopsy. So let's do it. He gets there, and basically all the successes up through a certain moment were all Michael Eisner, under Michael Eisner. And Iger, of course, because he was the CEO at the time, got credit for it. He is the one that bought Lucasfilm, and look what happened. They haven't done anything with the Muppets. Marvel went from being really big to struggling, in my opinion. And apparently, even Kevin Feige has a minder now. Some guy named Winterbaum, I guess. And of course, the Shadow Lord at Lucasfilm is Jon Favreau, which is fine. I mean, I agree with it. Now, why? You sit there and look at what Iger did, and I don't hate Bob Iger, but I'm going to say, like every other politician that's done a mediocre job, they get bad advice from very ambitious assistants and advisors. First bad advice from, I'm going to say, Alan Horn, when he was there, shit-canning George's sequel trilogy treatments, right? Second bad advice, creating a Star Wars trilogy a timetable and deadlines. That's stupid. Okay. Again, if you're dealing with Marvel, you're dealing with cotton candy. If you're dealing with Star Wars, you're basically dealing with a quasi version of the Lord of the Rings in space. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Endor, the place where the battle for the shield generator happened, that name came from Tolkien. And that word means Middle Earth. Okay? So that, there you go. There's one small link. We've talked about Dave Filoni being very much connected to the Tolkien as well. And if you don't believe George Lucas read Lord of the Rings, you're an idiot, and I can't talk to you anymore. But anyway, so that was a mistake, throwing those treatments away, firing Michael Arndt, or letting Kennedy do it, and then bringing in the king of all mediocrities, J.J. Abrams, to rewrite or to do the sequel trilogy's first movie script with Larry Kasdan. And that's just the start. I mean, I look at the beginning of Disney owning Lucasfilm, from firing Michael Arndt and putting a time frame in which all these movies were supposed to be made, deadlines, and shit-canning the EU as Iger's mistakes. But again, as George said, studio executives are not sophisticated. They don't know anything about creativity. And if they can see they can cut corners and make money at it, they'll do it. I mean, he didn't say that, but that's implied. And that's what they did. And we were promised a lot, and they under-delivered. Yet they made so much money, Iger and company thought, let's keep Kathy around. Then we got the complete bullshit that went on while they filmed Rogue One. We know what she did when they filmed The Last Jedi, and of course, the ridiculous failure of Solo, whom even she regrets. Iger should have said, we're not renewing your contract in 2018. Now, we all know that her contract stipulated that if movies she made over $1 billion or over, her contract was automatically negotiated, right? But the movie that came out after the failure that was The Last Jedi lost over $100 billion, maybe $200 billion. And she got away with it. The excuse was that was going around YouTube is they couldn't find anybody to replace her. Then we got a respite because The Mandalorian was so good. 2018 might be the start of a change coming to Lucasfilm because you guys remember the reported fight. Even Grace Randolph talked about it. They had a telephone conference with Lucasfilm Britain, and all hell broke loose. Iger and Kevin Feige and John Lasseter listened in on it. And I was not surprised. But as soon after that things kind of started to unravel, where Pablo Hidalgo throws a fit on X and leaves for a while, and then he comes back, and then he throws another fit in 2019 and pretends he's left forever. And he's still pretending he left forever. He does have an account there where I think he monitors things. What I think is really interesting is Iger let himself be bullied by this vicious woman. I mean, 2018 was definitely a seminal year because a lot of these big YouTubers gained tons of subscribers because they tapped into a rage going on in pop culture fan community. And they've made, I would say, millions of dollars on it. And not addressing people's concerns is another thing that Iger didn't do, which is why Disney's in the place it's in. They are not well situated, but stable, I would say, stock price. But remember where it was in 2018 and now where it is, right? The stock has been devalued hugely. And not all of it has to do with COVID, which I think businesses are still feeling the effects of, but also poor management. And that comes from Iger, who could not stop Kathleen Kennedy from doing what she was doing. And I'm not going to bring up Kevin Feige. I don't know anything about Marvel, but I will bring her up. Iger had a license to print money with Star Wars. And instead of following what George said, he decided to follow what a bunch of unsophisticated, I'd say white trash studio executives said to do, who don't know what the hell they've got their hands on. And, I mean, this is where we're at. This is where Iger's at. That is his legacy. Marvel failed. The parks are not doing as well as they could have been. They have to literally change the Galaxy's Edge over to the OG. And he let Kathleen Kennedy beat him up until the failure of Indiana Jones, and then he shoved her aside. Again, she even says, I have not been involved in decision-making at Lucasfilm for the last 2.5 years, in her last interview. But let's talk more about who could replace him, and let's go from there.
I've been basking in it for the last 30 minutes. My God, I feel like a seafront village after the Vikings have left.
Money.
Money? Oh, but what's money to an artist? To a philosopher, it's just green-colored paper that floats in and out of his life like snow. It's nothing you actually have to, I don't know, work for, is it, Troy?
So let's talk about the people who could replace Iger. This is Josh D'Amaro. He's the head of the parks. He's the front runner. And the reason why I believe, and others believe, he will be the head of and CEO of the Walt Disney Company is because look at what's going on at Galaxy's Edge. Pretty much everything's changing over to the OG. Now, if you go to Screen Rant, you go to Disney Dining, you go to Inside the Magic, they're basically saying that the sequels aren't going away. They're just going to be over at Rise of the Resistance. Well, if that's the case, why is Rise of the Resistance completely shut off, quarantined to the point where customers can't even see inside? They've got it basically barricaded. Okay. You can talk all you want, fanboys and girls, but the proof of what's really going on is what they're doing, not your yapping. It's what you see going on in the parks. That store they have there is being changed over to a surplus, Imperial surplus store. All right? So, in my opinion, D'Amaro wants the park to reflect what Star Wars really is. The characters, everything, okay? Hopefully you can actually get Anakin's lightsaber. You can get Luke's lightsaber. You can go and, dodge Darth Vader in the 501st. Meet Han Solo, Leia, Chewbacca, Luke. Maybe they have Lando wandering around. This change will be a success. And as far as D'Amaro goes, I know the park people are not happy with him, but I really don't give a shit because he's doing the right thing by Galaxy's Edge. Okay. And he's in the lead for this, and I think he's got it, to be honest, just by Galaxy's Edge changeover. So we got an affluent white female ultra-leftist, Dana Walden. If you guys remember the story, it was over a year ago, 2024, an article came out absolutely slamming Bob Iger and to a lesser extent, Bob Chapek. And when you looked through it and saw it, she was one of the women that were part of the article doing that. Okay, now, is she going to leave Disney? I don't know. She might stay around just in case tomorrow falls on his face, and maybe she could step in, but I don't think we really want her to. She's what, 50 years old? She's in the age range where you don't want a woman like that anywhere near anything, right? She looks like Abigail Spanberger's, or whatever her name, governor of Virginia. She looks like her twin sister. And Spanberger's a psychopath, okay? I'm sorry, when I look at somebody like this, I go, this person I don't trust, right? It doesn't, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter the sex of who runs Disney. It matters what their values are. And women in Hollywood are pro-abortion. They have false compassion for the LGBTQ plus minuscule population, and they tend to hate white men. And when I look at Dana Walden, that's who I see. She might be, Melania Trump's twin, but all things that I've seen so far point in the opposite direction. Okay, so no, we don't want somebody like that running Disney. Now, will she leave? Considering that there aren't any equivalent levels of, like she could go from what she's doing right now, to the same job at Universal, at Paramount, at Columbia, whatever, Universal Parks, whatever. I think she'd stay, because if she left, she wouldn't be number 2, she'd be number 6, right? And that would just be starting over again. So I think she'll stay unless somebody offers her a job somewhere else. Maybe Kathleen can start an all-girl studio like they used to, like Bette Midler and Goldie Hawn used to have that. Fucking failed deliciously. And Dana can go there and help run it, and then, start a Mean Girls Club with Kathy. I don't know. But I don't think she's necessarily going to leave. She's just not going to be CEO. Okay, and that's good, because we don't want her making decisions creatively for Star Wars, Disney Animation, Disney Studios, Fox Studios, Marvel, Jim Henson Studios, whatever. Okay. So what does this mean going forward for Star Wars fans? Well, with Iger going, and it looks like to me that studio heads that have not done well are being chaperoned now. It looks like Disney's finally serious about making money, and making money means listening to what George said in the first place, that things are probably going to turn around, and the fans are going to have to let it happen before they make a decision. Like, the Maul animation TV show coming out looks great. Mando and Grogu, they've got to step up the marketing and really throw some cash at it, because I think it's going to be a good movie. It's going to be fun to watch. And, we got to just go on from there. This is a whole new chapter. Kathleen Kennedy is gone. Bob Iger's almost out the door. Now, you don't have to hate Bob, except for the fact that he let Kathleen Kennedy bully him, and he kept her around too long. He waited until she destroyed Indiana Jones to push her out. And that, I think, was his biggest mistake. He should have gotten rid of her between October 2018 and 2021. That's when I would have gotten rid of her. But I'm not Bob Iger, so there you go. Anyway, this is, I think, good news coming. I wish Mr. Iger well. No, sir, I don't hate you. Okay. But a change had to come. And hopefully Josh tomorrow, or, whoever takes over, maybe someone we haven't even heard of yet, can continue to right the ship and make Disney great again. Okay. This is Steph, signing out. See you around the galaxy.
Ready, everybody?
All set.
Here we go again.